Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Gulf Intelligence Global UAE Energy Forum. I am Diala Sabah. I'm a partner with Gulf Intelligence, and I'm delighted to be your master of ceremonies today and also moderating some of the discussions. Well, we're delighted to be bringing you our annual forum now in its 11th year. And under the patronage of His Excellency Suhail Al-Mazrou'i, the Minister of Energy and Infrastructure for the UAE. But this year, we bring it to you in a virtual format and on a truly global scale. We're bringing together the foremost thought leaders in the energy sector from across all geographies to discuss and offer their insight on the defining and highly challenging moments of 2020, and more importantly, what that means for the sector for the year ahead. We'll be discussing demand-supply dynamics, economic growth, and energy sector investment forecasting, and how companies and countries plan to strategize around that. We saw oil markets take a positive turn at the start of the fourth quarter of last year, and that seems to be continuing into the new year. We've seen oil prices on a positive trend for the last week or so, comfortably now, one could argue, in the low 50s for WTI and Brent crude. But we've also seen conflicting simultaneous headlines. The vaccine news has been very positive since November, and that seems to be taking off and being implemented across the world. At the same time, we're seeing a second COVID 2.0 surge and lockdowns in various countries. So what's on the horizon? Where does this leave the energy sector? And can it find its way out of the pandemic by the end of this year, if not sooner? Well, this plenary session, of course, focuses on Asia, and it's the start of our forum. And now I'm delighted to introduce Ms. Mariet Westermann, Vice Chancellor of NYU Abu Dhabi, to deliver the welcome note address. Mariet, if you could please switch on your video and your mic should be unmuted for the presentation. Thank you and welcome.
Good morning and thank you, Diala. And to all of you, welcome to the 11th UAE Energy Forum, which, as you heard, this year is really the first global forum on energy since the advent, now a year ago, of COVID-19. My name is Mariet Westermann, and I am, as you also heard, the Vice Chancellor of New York University, Abu Dhabi. The university would normally be your host in Abu Dhabi for this very dynamic annual forum on the energy outlook for the year ahead. And I very much hope that in 2022, we may welcome all of you back to our beautiful campus on Saadiyat Island in the UAE in Abu Dhabi. We are delighted nonetheless that our partner Gulf Intelligence decided to take the event online this year, so we can travel virtually from the Middle East to Europe and from Asia to the US in lectures, fireside chats, roundtables, and interviews. It's a great program. Now, I'm a historian of art, not an oil or energy expert. So given the outstanding expertise on the impressive roster of participants, I am not going to venture any projections on the price of oil, the future of shale, or the prospects for nuclear power or renewables this year. I just look forward to learning the latest about all of these things as I can be with you the next day. I will say something about the relevance of your conversations in the forum and of your industry, the energy industry, for higher education and for NYU Abu Dhabi. And it's something I want to say about universities. Even though many people, including I think all of you around the world, really value universities, you cherish the ones that you attended, and maybe you hope that your children will have the benefit of a university education. Despite all of that, we know that universities also sometimes come in for a lot of criticism over the years. Some employers think universities don't prepare students with the right skills. Many parents think they're too expensive. I'm a parent with kids in universities. Some politicians even think universities don't expose students to all the right views. And I've even over the years heard people attack universities because they trust in science. I am lucky to be leading this particular university, NYU Abu Dhabi, here in this country, as the UAE government believes in the power of knowledge and truth seeking. And we're very glad that His Excellency, Mr. Al-Masroui, Suhail Al-Masroui, always supports this event, in fact. Let me say something more about that in the light of the pandemic. Attacks on universities were quite virulent up to 2020. But I think that the pandemic may be turning this tide of skepticism about our knowledge institutions, our universities. It is thanks to inventions that came out of universities over many years that the world of science was ready to pounce on the coronavirus genome as soon as its sequence was posted online just over a year ago this week, January 11, 2020. All of us humans will forever owe a great debt to the scientists in China who sequenced the genome so quickly and made it available to all the world. You all know the story. Within days of posting the genome, vaccine development research was kickstarted in China, in Europe, in the UK, and in the US. Around the world, scientists raced all year to publish new studies of different aspects of the pandemic at unprecedented speed. And importantly, they did so together in uncommonly open collaboration and academic exchange. And it really was extraordinary. Many of the typical protections of intellectual property and rights of first publication of results were relaxed or even set aside by scientists around the world for the sake of bringing us testing, medicines, and the vaccines that are now our real and only hope for getting on top of this great threat. And all of these scientists and scholars were educated in universities, and most of them are working in higher education today. The scientists who pioneered those technologies that now enable the Pfizer-BioNTech, the Moderna, the AstraZeneca vaccines, these scientists had been working for decades in their university labs on related questions, but different questions. They didn't know the coronavirus was coming, right? They were working on questions that helped them figure out what to do now, driven by curiosity about the secrets of life and the potential of applications yet to be discovered. The knowledge, the mental agility, the human capital that these scientists had developed was there when the world needed it. So I think that when we are on the other side of this pandemic, and that will hopefully come at some point in the next year, I don't think we are going to see the same aggressive distrust of science in universities that was quite worrisome just a few years ago. Now, we're here for the Energy Forum. How does my optimism about renewed interest and perhaps even trust in science connect to this forum? First, the new tests, the new medicines, and these new vaccines could be developed quickly thanks to long-standing partnerships between the academy and industry. By themselves, the universities could not have produced these tests or vaccine technologies at the high efficacy and speed and at the scale that was required. And the power of those collaborations was evident everywhere last year, where new partnerships were being forged, including at NYU Abu Dhabi, where we worked very hard on things like testing and new ways of producing PPE quickly. But those kinds of collaborations are not limited to medicine. When our economies and societies enter the post-COVID world, and that time will come, we will need such partnerships more than ever. Because all of the problems that we were working on and worried about as a society, as a human community before COVID, those problems have not gone away. Along with the huge question that this forum obviously will address of building back a more equitable and sustainable economy and industry. One of the most pressing questions for the planet is how we ensure its habitability, how we sustain its environment. And at last year's forum, I was really encouraged to hear many discussions among all of you of how the energy industry, which the world needs, could also become a leader on climate. And here too, I think there is massive potential for partnerships between the academy and all of you. A final word on the outlook for 2021 and beyond, which I was asked to speak about. Just a quick word. If you asked our students here at NYU Abu Dhabi today what they are most worried about 5 years from now, or even 1 year from now, it is not COVID. They know that there will be an end to that. What they're worried about is how they, the youth of the world, will cope with a warming planet, more devastating weather patterns, unreliable water supplies, and the growing displacement of animal, plant, and human life that come with these problems. They worry about how they will slow the deterioration of our environment and the economic and social dislocation that comes with those developments. Our students here at NYU Abu Dhabi work with our professors to develop solutions to these big issues. They're very interested in them. And they want to practice and develop their knowledge in all areas of human enterprise, including the energy sector. Contrary to popular belief, again, they are not against the industry at all. They know we need it and they want to work with it, but they want it to be a sector that works to improve our shared human and planetary future. I have worked for universities for 30 years now, and I can tell you that this generation we're teaching now is on fire, the best kind of fire that I've ever seen in students, because it comes from their minds and their hearts. Our students at NYU Abu Dhabi come from 120 countries. 120 countries in all of the continents we're visiting today with the forum. And they have seen and experienced all the world's problems in their different environments. But they are also seeing the power of ideas and the power of actions and the power of solidarity across borders that we've seen this year. They do not just want to do well for themselves. They want to do good and have a future. And so I am hopeful for that future. 2020 has shown us that when science, the academy, and industry come together, they can move mountains and change tides. And so NYU Abu Dhabi welcomes you, all of you in the energy industry, most heartily to this forum. We welcome you to consider also what you can do with universities such as ours, and with the incredible talents that we are preparing for the world. I hope you have a wonderful set of conversations and that you all enjoy the forum and will be back with us next year as well.
Thank you very much, Mariet Westermann from NYU Abu Dhabi. Thank you very much for that optimism, and we'll hope to carry that through this year. And of course, some of the points you mentioned will be touched on in our various plenary sessions and roundtables and lectures throughout the day and across the world.